All right. First off, I hope you guys is having a wonderful day. Yeah, it's cloudy, but you know what brings the sun out? Truth. So let's put some truth in the air. Okay. So look, we gotta explain certain things when we talking about time, because when they give us these codes, right? They're giving us codes to tell us what the hell is going on. You feel me? So at the end of the day, they have to tell you because what they're doing to you, and they're going to tell you. So when it comes to these words or these spells, you feel me? These words is always dealing with energies, period. That's why your words is powerful, especially when you attach a perspective to it. Now you're giving it electricity and magnetism, right? Because when you're when you harness energy from above and below, right? You're pretty much tying to ether energies above and below. That's why they named the letters after the stars, because the alphabet or the alpha beta system is literally about uh is about your genetics. So when they said the Moors taught them uh the alphabet and how to stand up straight, whoop de whoop, it was talking about the line in between the parallels and about our goddamn cycle, which ties to our genetics, which is how they ended up manipulating the shit. Now they have it as a measurement so they can track when it happens, right? So pretty much the shit I be saying is pretty much stay system. Like I peeped it, cause one thing you have to know for sure, this nigga was one of us and against us, right? He was one of us, then went against us. So at the same time, we know what the fuck is going on. At the same time, this is our realm, period. So the whole key of knowing thyself is to peep the reflection, because it's all talking about your genetics at the end of the day. When it's talking about science, math, social studies, all that shit, nature, space, astrology, numbers, letters, niggas all talking about your genetic code. You are the code. You feel me? That's why everything in the matrix runs off codes pretty much. Or a simulation is a reflection of your fucking DNA collectively. It's like we individually, you know, already tied to that shit. And the whole point of waking up is breaking out the loop. Because if you can see how the construct is made, how you now that means you having a little more guidance. You feel me? So let me stop rambling. Let's break down a little bit more shit before I move forward. So let's start off with Omi. Omi means Ayin, which is a prefix for Zayin, meaning weapon. So Xenobot is connected to Omicron. Xenobot is the uh, tying to the sleeper cell slash uh, other shit going on with the shots and shit. So the Xenobot is like a microorganism replicator, pretty much. Like it replicates itself in bodies, pretty much, dealing with a certain T cell. And when it connects to your T cell, pretty much manipulates that shit. And as cellular reproduction is going on, that's what's creating these variants because it's reproducing your cell into more cells. That's the whole point of the matter changing. A gain of cell or a deletion of cells is called a mutation. Okay? A gain of cell and a loss of cell is called a mutation. So if you're gaining a cell, that's a mutation. You're mutating. If you're losing a cell or atom, you're mutating. Period. So the whole point, xeno, the xenobot can only be transferred through a lipoprotein, a lipotransfer. You feel me? Meaning it can be transferred as small through as small as a needle. Whoop de whoop. But the thing is, that's tied to the cron system, right? Which is the same definition of bot. So the prefix of xenobot and omicron match each other. Xeno and omi, tying to alpha omega. Cause xeno is supposed to be like reverse energy of the natural shit. So say alpha omega boom ties to it being an eye weapon when it's being destructive. The the positive is like God. Okay, so Omi means A and Zaya means weapon. Xeno means gift to Zeus. And Kron from Omicron and Bot means the same thing. Kron is a Unix utility, daemon, or Unix daemon, or daemon, that executes commands in the cron tab, file at a specified times and dates. Also used as a schedule such function as backup and maintenance procedures, often called cron jobs. Command on run. So that's the definition of cron. So definition of bot is an autonomous program on the internet or another network that can interact with system users. That's the first definition. The second definition is a robot. The third definition is a computer program that operates as an agent for a user or other programs to simulate a human's activity. That's what the Xenobot does, and it ties to the Unix system of their network, tying to the satellites and whoop de whoop. Okay, they are used to automate certain tasks, meaning they can run without specific instructions from human, meaning they're already set to uh they're set to a frequency. Because when you talk about Unix system time with the cron or Unix utility, it's going off of universal frequencies. So that's why as well what they say the pole shift, the state of matter is changing on this planet. So since time is really a measurement of that energy, the automated system picks it up and it's actually speeding up the time of the automated system to where it uh, deannihilates pretty much itself and in anything that's connected to it. So, and that's something they can't stop because of the black sun and its frequencies, entertainment purposes only. Because it's dealing with a 12-year cycle. We six going on 7 years in. So that being said, we're pretty much at the heart chakra of the whole shit. Okay. So the only reason I said 12 because for completion that deals with the 36. The 33 just represents the understanding of itself. You feel me? S- Self mastery, the 33. But it's only self mastery because when you know yourself now, you understand the yin and the yang, that 6-9. Okay? And that's and that 33 and that 6-9 also ties to the timeline because it operated off of 369. But it ties to some Notre Dame shit that I heard somebody say. I didn't look it up, but I remember only say that because he brought up something that dealt with the four. So when you're looking at trinities, the 12 is the fourth trinity, dealing with the fourth density. Okay, so because it's going to tie to 4,000 hertz on the timeline, or in other words, the year 4000. But that goes back in time as a reverse, anyways, like 1994. 1994 is a reverse 4000. And shit crazy. On a Luciferian type of time, like, that's how you can count. You can match the 10 years from like 1980 to 1970, 1960. Those 10 years, when you reverse it and shit and leave it and put it in columns and rows, it actually shows you 10,000 year gaps or 1,000 years gaps. So when you match it up as a loop, you actually start matching this timeline, like how it's time traveling, because it's always been like dealing with different dimensional shifts. It's just they were manipulating it with the ozone layer. So now it's depleting. That light is being received in, but the is picking it, is not really manipulating it no more. Is able, they can't, whatever they thought was going to be a stretch, it's not going to be a stretch, because either way their clones or the system is fucking going off frequencies, just like how humans do. So that computer brain is going off of frequencies and is set up to frequencies and already scheduled to them timings, which means frequencies, okay, or shifts. So the thing is, their and their world is, it's like the DNA memory is picking up ASO, but the computer system is also doing the same thing because they tied into our system or our Akashic records, pretty much, which was tied into collective consciousness, our DNA. You feel me? All this metaverse shit, bro, that shit already happened. We're dealing with that shit now, okay? This is why I'm breaking down the shit I'm saying. Because it deals with the metaphysical world. It deals with metaphysics. You trying to ascend or some shit, that's metaphysics, nigga. Physical, mental, unlocks. Physical, mental, spiritual is a trinity. Just like other trinities. It's just like cycles. Dealing with 3, 6, 9. But it's really the three. But really, all them energies is just representing a whole energy. But if your trinity is not operating as a trinity, dealing with above and below and center, what are you just, your energy might be getting manipulated without knowing. But it's going to be getting manipulated by you, right? We all go through it. That's why we have to stay in the right frequency and with a clear mind. Because that clear mind, as these shits going, is going to allow the memory to be revealed. And a clear mind is going to help you when you think it's too much. A clear mind is going to help you with awarenesses. A clear mind does not deal with fear. It won't even be allowed. A clear mind keeps you, will make you think you're a motherfucking clone just because you're doing something you never did before. Clear mind. But also with a clear mind, you have to know thyself, because if you don't know thyself, really to operate in a clear mind, you have to know all them things, because that's really operating in a clear mind. It's the only way you unlock it. Matching truth and motherfucking reality. So we're going to match. I'm going to put What I think, because I see it in reality, even with Bob Marley's son or grandson, it matches up with 6D, nigga. The time Bob Marley dropped that song on the timeline of the 6 ether cycle or the 6D, 1970 is part of that timeline. So, as the energy matched present, niggas thinking future consciousness that's not future consciousness. There is no future. You being aware. Awareness is just consciousness. You're just aware. There's no fucking future. Because this timeline that you referring to as future is actually still part of the past. It's just dealing with the timeline split, just like you seeing again. Like how everything is being revealed the same way it happened. So if that's fucking happening that way, you gotta watch this shit at the same time, because that's how we fell in the motherfucking first place, right? What the hell? This shit ain't over yet. And we not in the seventh yet. We're in the sixth. But we're dealing with higher, we're actually dealing with different gears, but it's stuck in the six. But that shit's about to break. Okay? And it's gonna like pretty much deal with the AD parallel. Like how we dealing with the before Christ type shit. And like the shit they wasn't really talking about, that type of stuff. That's crazy. I don't got no lighter no more. Yeah, yeah anyways. Alright, so let's do this. Alright, so the triangle, right? That little symbol right there means denoting energy. So the triangle down, which means delta in Greek, right? I says UV because delta also means ultraviolet, and that's still the symbol. It's just reversed. But what I've been coming to see, it deals with the macabre when you put the shit together, anyways. So this whole science is just talking about motherfucker science, Sakai, how this shit operate and how they manipulating this shit. If you actually peep what I'm saying, because when it's dealing with you, it's dealing with your DNA. It's actually like a little chakra thing too, dealing with the planet. So that's what I'm saying. So peep game, when you dealing with a circle, that's really just dealing with the aura, all right? Because your geometrical shapes that's pretty much being aligned within creates that light, that aura. So just get back to point. So when you're dealing with the compass and the clock, that deals with the compass of the sun. Feel me? So I have this theory, right? Because these shapes, right, make 90-degree angles, right? So that's dealing with the cross on the grid, but it's really a X on the grid, and when the parallels just cross, right? So when the pole is shifting, them lines is coming together to connect above and below, dealing with the twins, right? The blue, red sun, blue Kachina. But a twin is a binary system that creates a trinity, that creates that new light. It denotes a higher self, right? That's how energy operates. So as you look, as you go east, right, you count by 90s. So this is east, south, west, 27. But 360 represents completion. Okay. So 3, 6, 9, 12. The 12 is a 3, which is a rebirth pretty much of the 9. Because the only way it could go into a higher self is if it has a rebirth of the 9. Okay. So that dealt with the loop too. But because it deals with an ascension thing at the same time, they have to manipulate the natural energy for it to even work. And you're part of this natural energy. Okay. You are the natural energy. So, and the codes is within you for you to reflect. So, really, they look at this shit, but they already know this shit as I see. So it's like some whole other shit going on. Maybe it's like you just have to do this shit and reflect it, so you can really break out the shit. So, anyways, sticking to points. Okay, so that's when I was saying the 33 because it's 3, 6, 9. No, 3, 6, 9, 3. The 33 of the 6, 9 is talking about this wheel, the cycle, right? That's what made the wheel, the cycle. So as we proceed, 2017 to 2016, 2017, in my eyes is when this shit got popping. Because I actually went through experience, as I said before. So me not even getting to that, it was dealing with a gamma ray that hit, and that dealt with the pole shift, and that was dealing with the planet also. So as the year, let's say this represents 12 months too. It could also represents the 12 zodiacs at the same time, or it could represent the elements, because really that 12 is just talking about four that's dealing with one energy. It's all one energy at the end of the day. It's just giving you reflections of its phases and faces. You feel me? That's why you just gotta use discernment. Okay? So these phases or faces, because I say faces because the lion, the goat, you feel me, the snake, the dragon, or self, feel me, like Ezekiel will, cherubim, or the Chimera dragon. It's all talking about carbon and ether, the ether cycles. So let's say this represents a chakra wheel, but this was being denoted on the planet. And as it denoted on the planet, remember you're the X in between this triangle denoting energy rising and this UV energy that's hitting. Okay? You're the X in between that. So whatever that's dealing with is dealing with you too. Okay? Just like the grid, you're the X. It deals with you, period. And everything that's on it. So as it goes around the 360, we're gonna say each circle is a year. Okay? So we got all these circles. We're gonna say each circle is a year. And as it goes up, your DNA resonates with the energy because it hurts, but it also has a timeline. When you go back to periods and times and shit, the shit match up. And dealing with, they always talk about a calendar date. Why? Because that ties to a certain measurement that's tying to a time state. You just gotta think galactically, like, nigga, like, you gotta think like you already had a time machine. Because if you feel like the time machine is real and you haven't seen it before, then that means like you have some type of memory of one. Okay? So just because that shit was made off our genetics, period. Like everything is a reflection of your DNA code. That's why when you're a enlightened one knows thyself, okay, and starts to see everything because it's reflections of you. and how it operates and works, all you gotta do is look at your reflections. What matches you? And if they talking about energy, and that's tying to the universal code, and energy works like batteries and 369, but then you look at it, it works like nature. So it's like it's a replica of nature. Um, but the thing is, the natural energy or that DNA that they're trying to replicate is a replica of you. So it's like everything they dealing with, they're talking about your cycle, you. You're the energy. That's the only way they even manipulating you, above, below, and on the grid. It's an energy thing. They need you to cooperate for them to even do so. Because if you cooperate, now you're cooperating with the spell. When you peep game, it pretty much gets put back on them like karma. The mirror starts to reflect the light or their darkness that they was trying to put on you. So that's what I'm saying. The truth actually does set you free, because when your perspective starts to pick up, that's dealing with your consciousness. Now your soul, the energies that you was already operating in, is matching reality. Now the soul can feed the consciousness intuition, information that you might pick up as intuition off of the frequencies of light. So as we move through, we're gonna say this: 2017, boom. If you peep these frequencies as you go up, counting by 90, that's dealing with your body, right? So this goes into 2018, right? 2019. This would be 2019. But as the hertz was going on, it was dealing with your body, right? So as it got here, okay, it's dealing with memory, all types of shit. But it's actually dealing with a higher self. Like the planet was going into a higher self, which had you going into a higher self, because the DNA resonates with the hertz last year. So this is really a timeline. These numbers, and they're going along with these 4 quarters of the year. So the next one is coming up April 28th, 27th. But that's just a reflection of July 27th. Okay? I say that because July 27th is the opening of one of the faces or the phases, okay? Which is the Lionsgate portal. So just like January 27th, right, which was really Kali Yuga, right? That opening up and line up a series, that's why the Super Bowl is tied to that energy, because that's tying to autumn and the fall, right? That Super Bowl type of timing, because on a 369 or no number is greater than 9 type shit, uh 369 really about trinities and cycles. But no number greater than 9, that shows you that it repeats. So their alignment is on a different type of alignment, right? They're going off a different type of calendar because they have to go off energy to even manipulate it. The Gregorian calendar is made so you can have a perspective that manipulates you, okay? So that leaves you kind of like lost in time type shit when you control this whole realm type shit dealing with this energy. So, or what you so called time, quantum type shit. So, as say we are here, right? We're dealing with a rebirth, and this is the new beginning, being in the seventh dimension on the physical state. Seven is just to represent the expression of it. We're dealing with a whole energy being repaired, okay? The carbon 12 is being repaired, but it's being revealed to you as it rises, because as it rises, it goes to the next level. But as it rises, it goes to the next dimension, so to say. But dimension is just another word for time, just like period, century, all that shit. So 1, 2, 3. right? It's going into 2019, 2020, 2020, 2021, because of April being New Year's for the new gear. 144 hertz hit, okay, on 2020, right? And it dealt with that alignment. But where did it deal with? And the rebirth going into the new year, right? Because this is representing a rebirth because it's representing 270 or a 72 or the pole shift, goddamn denoting itself into a higher state. This is the 9, the 369. But the 9 needs a rebirth to go into a higher state or it just makes a loop, okay? Which is like a dome. There's like, it's not letting in the light because if it was letting in light, then it could reflect light to be an aura type shit, just like you. So, um, blah, 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 blah. All right, so as you go, this was sparked in the brain, but this is representing 144. But if you look at the chakra list, 144 is dealing with um ascension type symptoms because now you're past like the seventh chakra. And when you're going higher, that's unlocking higher chakras, which dealing with your energy in higher realms. So whatever your energy is tied to in different dimensions, you start to go travel and see that shit and start to remember shit and go check in and all types of stuff. So that's what denoted that. And then it started bringing back this memory that was tied to the timeline, right? So that's why as the timeline went up, things were being revealed. Like this really like 2021, 2022 type shit. Going into 2023. I wrote that shit wrong. Don't pay attention to the dates. But yeah, just remember 2017, 2018, 2019, 2020. Now we at 2021, right? Things is getting revealed of what happened